Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Nanika Edwards. You could call me Nanika or just Nika. When you're referring to me, either is fine. And today I'm going to be sharing with you one of the pieces of artwork from my Critter Calligraphy collection. And it's a collection that combines art with lettering. It's like faux calligraphy, which means false lettering. So it's not like real formal calligraphy. It's more playful and less rigid, you could say, if you want to put it like that. So these are the colors that I'm going to be using today. We're going to be doing a crab. So I've got about 3 different greens, these 3 different greens here. I've got 2 different oranges, and I've got red, and I've got brown. So we're going to be doing a crab, and yeah, should be fun. So Critter Calligraphy Animal Alphabet Stories is available on Amazon. Critter Calligraphy Animal Alphabet Stories. That's the name of the book. It's a collection of very, very short stories that include a bit of some prose. Most of them are written in prose, and a couple of them are written as poems. They're perfect for kids. And one of the creatures in there is a crab. So we're going to be doing a crab today. And well, before I begin, I would just like to ask you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and to hit the like button if at the end of this video you enjoyed the video. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do, the first thing that I like to do when I'm doing my critter calligraphy artwork, depending on the creature, is to write out all of the letters just to make sure that they fit properly on the page. So the first thing I'm going to start with is my brown marker. Okay, you can see I'm starting with my brown marker. And hopefully eventually I'll be able to get overhead shots of my artwork so that it'll be easier for you to follow. But thank you for your patience with me in the meantime. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is a big letter C, like this. Okay, like that. So that's the brown, okay? So it's a little from the edge of the page, not right up to the edge of the page. The next thing that I'm gonna do, and by the way, if we have young kids watching, do you know how to spell crab? Can you spell that? Can you spell that word? Crab. 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 Can you spell that? If you spelled C R A B, you are very correct. So the next letter that I'm going to go with is, which letter is it going to be? After C will come, right, R. So I'm going to come a little below the C. When I'm doing critter calligraphy writing, I don't tend to put the letters on the same level. Okay, I like putting them at different points on the page, but not necessarily right across. The next thing that I'm gonna do is the A. All right, so I'm gonna go with orange for this. Right, I'm gonna come right next to the R, but kind of above it, like this. So it's a simple A. So I made like a C and then a line going down. And my final letter is going to be the letter what? After we got C, R, A, and what would the last letter be? Yeah, it's going to be the letter B. B. All right. So I need to make sure that I have enough space for my pincers. So I'm going to make it kind of close. And you don't want the letters too far from each other because you want your viewer's eye to be able to follow the letters and understand that they're connected to each other. So I'm going to come right here, make a line down like this, and then the bottom part of the B like this. I hope I can fit in the pins, the eyes and the pincers. We'll see. I will make them fit. All right, the next thing that I'm gonna do, okay, so we've got our C, we've got our R, we've got our A, we've got our B. The next thing I'm gonna do is now go back over the letters and fill in the detail. I'm gonna turn the C into a coconut tree, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do is come from this point here, from this point. And I'm gonna come down and get slightly thicker as I come down and around like this. That's with my brown marker. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get one of my greens. I think I'm gonna go with, which green should I go with? Well, I went with this green. I went with this green here. So I'm gonna go with a different green here. I'm gonna go with my nice grass green. I'm gonna come, I'm gonna make a very narrow U, long and narrow, like that. I'm gonna make a couple of those, maybe about 5. Then I'm gonna go diagonally, like that. Then I'm gonna come around like this. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I do apologize about that, but I hope you can still make out what to do. Then I'm gonna come right here like this and then close it like that. So my coconut tree is almost done. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put, you know, coconut trees or palm trees, you know, if you're from the Caribbean or if you're from a place in the world where you do have palm trees and coconut trees, I guess you would know that coconut trees have these grooves along the trunks, these lines along the trunk. So let's put those in. A line here, and you're following the curve of the coconut tree, right? So just follow the curve of the coconut tree. Now, coconut trees are not necessarily, you won't only necessarily find them at the beach, but the beach would be one place where in a tropical place, on a tropical island, where you would find coconut trees, okay? So I'm gonna put in some dots to represent the sand at the beach. Put in some dots around the bottom of the tree. Right. You don't have to put in too many, but I think that's quite enough. So this is a C, okay? It looks like a coconut tree. Now, when you show this artwork to your family and friends, don't tell them what they're looking at. Try to see how long it takes them to figure out what they're looking at. That's the fun of critic calligraphy, trying to figure out what you're looking at. Now, I'm gonna skip the R and the A, and I'm gonna go to the B, okay? So the first thing I wanna do is do the eyes. So you could use black for the eyes if you would like to, but I'm gonna stick with orange and red for the crab. So my first eye is actually gonna be orange. And I'm gonna put it right here, like this, an oval, like this. And then the next eye is going to be next to that. If you want, you could put it a little below or a little above. You can make one taller, one shorter. It's totally up, one higher, one lower. It's totally up to you. And right. So I've got my ovals for the eyes. All right, because you know, crabs, they look as though their eyes are kind of popping out of their heads a bit. Of course, for this artwork, it's slightly exaggerated, but that's okay because we're using our imagination. Now we need to make the stems for the eyes, okay? I don't know what else to call them, but I call them stems. So I'm gonna use a red stem for the orange eye, and I'm gonna use an orange stem for the red eye, just to make it a little interesting. Okay, now I also want to put in the eyeballs. Now, you can put the eyeballs wherever you want, okay? If you put the eyeballs looking in different directions, then your crab's gonna look like a fun, crazy crab. But if you put your eyes looking in one direction, then it will look like a regular, normal crab. I'm gonna put mine looking down. So I'm gonna use my orange to make the eyeball like this. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the red, like this. I try to get them about the same size. Okay, the next thing that I wanna do is I wanna do the, can you hear these cars passing? I don't know if you can. I don't know if the video is gonna pick this up, but we'll see. The next thing that I would like to do is the pincers. Now you can do pincers in different ways, okay? So this is how I'm gonna do my, I'm gonna put a red pincer on this side because the orange eye is here. So I don't want an orange pincer on this side. I want a red one on this side, and an orange one will go on this side. Now in Trinidad, where I come from, when we talk about the different parts of a crab, we call the big claw, or craw, I guess. Is it craw? No, not craw, claw. We call it the gundy. The gundy. It's a big one. So I'm gonna put a big gundy. Should I put it on this side or on this side? Doesn't really matter because I have enough space on both sides. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna make the, since this B is red, I'm gonna use orange for the bigger gundy. So I'm gonna put that on this side next to the red eye. So I'm gonna make a big U like this, like that, near the bottom of the page on the side of the crab. And on the other side, I'm gonna put a smaller one also on the side like this, a U, okay? The next thing that I'm gonna do is, I'm trying to decide how to do the gundy. There are two ways to do it, but I think I'm gonna try doing it this way. I'm gonna come down to the center like this, and the other side will also come down like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the big gundy, like this, and then like this. But of course, we've got to connect the claws to the crab. So you know what I'm gonna do, right? I have another orange, so I'm gonna use this orange to connect it. And I'm gonna use the red on the other side to connect it to the crab, like that. So our crab is coming along very nicely. Now, I write a lot of poetry, and whenever I write about crabs, or not whenever, sometimes when I write about crabs, they're really very crabby. And if you extend these letters, you could write the word crabby and have two crabs on your page, because crabby, which means kind of like angry and irritated and miserable, that means that crabby contains two B's. It's C-R-A-B-B-Y. So you could fit a B and a Y onto a different page if you do this artwork again, okay? So this crab is crabby, okay? So I'm gonna make him crabby, and I am going to get my, I'm gonna get my orange marker. This is a dark orange, and I'm gonna make a line like this, a squiggly line, which means he's not happy. And if we want to make him look even angrier, because we want him to look angry, we can add some eyebrows kind of shaped like a V, you know, in the direction of like what a V would be like, but they don't have to be connected, two different lines. So I'm gonna come with my red on this side, like this, and I'm gonna come with my orange on the other side, like this. So he looks pretty angry. Can you see that? Let me angle this way so you can see, right? He looks pretty angry. Yeah. Of course, our crab also needs legs, right? So like in Trinidad and Tobago, it's two islands, one country, right? In Trinidad and Tobago, we have a special dish called curried crab. And I guess if a crab knew that it was going to end up in a pot that's making curried crab for our dish, curried crab and dumpling or crab and dumpling, then it would need its feet to get away, wouldn't it? So we need to add some feet to this crab. So on one side, I'm going to add red little legs. 1, 2, 3 on one side, and on the other side I'll add 3 just because I just think it's easier to fit them that way and leave a space in the middle. Okay, so that's now, of course, a crab is really a decapod, which means it has 10 arms or legs. This one here has 8, including the claws, right? But that's okay. We're using our imagination, and you can do that when you're making playful art like what we're doing. The next thing that I'm going to do is just add some more fancy stuff to all the letters to make them look a little more interesting. So what I'm going to do is, for the A, I'm going to add a line on the left-hand side of the orange line, like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with the R. I'm going to, on the right-hand side, I'm going to add a line going down on the inside, like that. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to do is add some lines in between those, some horizontal lines. You seeing those right here? And I'm doing them in green and orange. I put the green first and I left some space in between to add in the green. So I put the orange in first, now I'm adding in the green, like that. And I'll do the same thing with my R. So the R is like, I may add a little, should I add some red in there? Maybe after. So I'm gonna add like orange, my dark orange. Of course, you can use any colors that you want. You don't have to use these colors. Maybe I'm saying that kind of late, but you know what I mean. You can use any colors you want. I'm gonna put some dots going down the side of the R. That's my red. So right here, going down the side. I'm going to do the same thing with the A, and I'm going to use maybe green right down the side like this. And I'm going to do the same thing with the B, but just so that it doesn't look too crowded, I'm going to do it on the inside, okay? You could do it on the outside if you want, but I'm going to do it on the inside stem of this B. And yeah, that's it. If you want, you could add a coconut. You could add a coconut to the coconut tree, but this is crab. Can you see that? It's like, this is what the crab looks like. So this is crab. So you can have a lot of fun showing your artwork to your family and friends to see if they can figure out what they're looking at. And you could try this with many other things. They don't have to be animals. It could be anything else, right? So I hope you enjoyed that. This is from my book, Calligraphy. Again, it's on Amazon. And I just like to invite you to subscribe to my channel and to like this video if you enjoyed this experience. Thank you very much, and until next time.